98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS. This is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. Make sure you go to hometownstation.com for all the latest and greatest Santa Clarita has to offer. And speaking of the greatest Santa Clarita has to offer, we have a very special guest in studio. As some of you may know, this is the 61st anniversary of the Leave It to Beaver show. It aired 61 years ago for the first time today, October 4th, and we have an extremely special guest in studio, the Beaver. Jerry Mathers joins us on the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle.
Good morning, Jerry. Welcome.
Good morning. It's fine to be here. It's a wonderful place.
It is so exciting to have you in studio. You're going to co-host with Kyle and me for the next half hour. That means we put you to work.
You know what? I'm a licensed DJ. I used to be on the radio. I ran the Jerry Mathers Gathers with rock and roll for the mind, body, and soul for 8 years and did from midnight till 8 in the morning.
Kyle, he might have our jobs. We got to be careful here. Okay, Jerry Mathers, happy anniversary. 61 years since Leave It to Beaver first aired.
1957.
How old were you?
Well, actually, I was a little bit younger when it really started because that's when the show first went on the air. But before that, we shot a pilot. So I was about 7 years old.
Cutest kid ever, by the way. You know that, right?
There's a lot of cute kids.
Oh.
You haven't seen a lot of them today. They're really cute.
But you know what, Jerry? You were there was an innocence. You know, that show just takes you back. They were just so, I love when you used to say to either, I don't know whether it was your older brother or the neighbor, giving me the business. Who says that? It's just so innocent and sweet.
Well, you know what? The writers between them had 12 kids. So they both came from families that had a lot of kids in them, both boys and girls. So some of the things that the Beaver actually did were things that girls had done. They all actually happened, but a lot of them girls had done. So it was a very, very family-friendly show. What people don't know about the show sometimes is that Hugh Beaumont was actually a Methodist minister.
Hugh Beaumont played your dad.
He was my dad in the show, Ward Cleaver. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times when he took me when I had done something wrong, which was almost every episode, people would say, he's just got this way about him. Well, that's because he was a minister, and he was at a very, very poor church down in the worst part of L.A., and he became an actor to be able to support his church. And he was Michael Shane. Now, Michael Shane is this kind of always has a bottle of something in his pocket that he sips on, and always when he needs information takes people against the wall and pounds them a little bit. So, for a minister, that wasn't the best reputation. So when he got on Leave It to Beaver, I think he being a minister really kind of came out.
If you want to watch the interview, we are doing something special today. We are Facebook streaming live on Facebook, so everyone can see this. And so if you're in the car, we have a lot of commuters. A lot of our listeners are commuters. And so wherever you're going, when you get to where you're going, you have to actually see Jerry Mathers because, in my opinion, this man has not changed in years. I mean, you're a little bit older, but you look like that sweet little innocent boy.
Well, I'm a lot older.
So,
but you know what? Thank you very much, but people don't change that much. I mean, most people, if you see them as a child, and I grew up basically in people's living rooms. I mean, I started Leave It to Beaver when I was pretty much 6 years old and went on till I was about 13. So people saw me through that, what do they call, I guess, the awkward age of transition.
But you have that iconic face. We might not change very much, but you have such an iconic face. Everybody knows Leave It to Beaver. Everybody knows Beaver. And so when you see you as an adult, you kind of you still look like him. You look great, by the way, Jerry. I don't know what you're doing. Do you have your lovely wife is here, who also takes care of most of your business. She takes good care of you, doesn't she?
She does very
Teresa.
much, and I have always been very much into not really strong physical exercise, but what I do is I walk. So I get up every morning, and I live in Valencia, and we have the Paseo system, and I walk all over the Paseo system. So I walk for at least an hour a day.
Walking's good, man.
And it gets your bones kind of moving around and stretches your muscles, and then I come back and I go on to my day. But my day is not complete unless I've exercised.
Until you walk. Well, you know what? You're looking great. If you want to find Jerry, he is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find him right now on our Facebook because we're streaming live. His Instagram is the Jerry Mathers. His website is jerrymathers.com. Of course, we'll put that up on Hometown Station for you. Jerry, you want to help me do a little bit of traffic? We need to do some traffic here coming up. And since you have your license to
DJ.
broadcast, what I need you to say is it's 8:38 time for traffic. Can you do that for me?
It's 8:38 time for traffic.
Beep, 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 beep. Go!
I'm a little concerned, Kyle. He's a little too good. All right, let's see what's going on. 8:08 traffic on the 8s every 10 minutes. Sierra Highway still a little heavy into Golden Valley. But Golden Valley looks good. Soledad Canyon wide open right now. Bouquet Canyon checking in just fine. Past Seco Canyon into Newhall Ranch Road. Let's check the freeways. Southbound side of the 14, still a little heavy. We had an earlier mishap at Placerita just as you're heading toward Newhall Avenue. That's cleared. Southbound side of the 5 is a little bit heavy right now from Calgrove into the 14. But it looks like past that you're doing fine. Till you get to the 118, further south, it's heavy into Burbank. That's traffic on your hometown station, KHTS.
Taking a look at weather now. Temperatures today expected to be in the mid to low 70s. We're expecting showers this morning and then partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon. Should clear up this evening with overnight lows in the upper 50s here in the Santa Clarita Valley.
All right, current temps. We're looking at 59 in Stevenson Ranch. Castaic also 59 and even 60 in Valencia. Partly cloudy, 60 here in Newhall.
KHTS. The Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. 98.1 FM and AM 1220.
8:39 on this Thursday. It is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. Special guest, I should say co-host. Your co-host in the show with us till 9 o'clock, Mr. Jerry Mathers. We are celebrating the 61st anniversary of Leave It to Beaver. Jerry, I have to ask you.
What do you have to ask me?
I got to ask you for some secret stories. Something we need to know behind the scenes. Did anything you and your older brother Tony Dow, who also lives in the Southland, do you guys get together on occasion?
You know what? It's like people that you worked with. We see each other, not every day or every month, but we're very good friends. If anything happens in any of our families, we know immediately. But yeah, so it's like somebody that you went to school with or has just been your very best friend for your entire life.
So you still have that connection?
I still have that connection, and he's a very, very nice person. He's a tremendous athlete, and he's just one of the nicest people you'd want to ever meet.
Well, that aside, I need to hear something. Do you have anything juicy for us? Whatever happened? Do you remember a great story when you were a kid on the set of Leave It to Beaver? Something maybe that'll make us laugh.
We know every day made people laugh because we had people like Edgar Buchanan who played Uncle Billy. Now, you'll see him on a lot of the other shows, but he was just a character, and he would always come on and he told jokes to everybody. And the bad part was when we filmed, Leave It to Beaver was filmed just like a movie on 35 millimeter film, so it wasn't live. So he would do his part, and then he would go back and sit in the back of the stage, and he'd be telling jokes, and the director would be like, "Who's laughing? Why are people laughing out there?"
Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set.
He was just a real character. Hugh Beaumont was very interesting because he was actually a Methodist minister. So he became a minister and went down to the worst part of Skid Row to basically preach to the alcoholics down there, and became an actor. Now, the actor he became was Michael Shane. Michael Shane was a detective, and it was what they call a B movie that would run before the main movies, and he would pick people up and bang them against walls for information. When he got to Leave It to Beaver, he was more like the minister that he really was.
What about your mom? About your mom?
Billingsley was a very, very, very in-demand model. She was a fashion model.
She was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Very, very skinny and tall and blonde, and she hadn't worked a whole lot before Leave It to Beaver, but she just had the nicest personality. And the people, Joe Conley and Bob Mosier, the writers and producers, as soon as they met her, they knew that was the June Cleaver that they wanted.
That was the pick. If you and Tony, did you ever get into any mischief on set where she had to kind of say, "Now, boys," did she become mother in real life to you guys at all?
Not really, but we were very, very well supervised. We were We were working 8 hours a day. We'd start, we'd rehearse for 2 days and then shoot for 3. But we always had a welfare worker who was our teacher. So I didn't go to a regular school. I had a private tutor from the time I was in the 1st grade till the 8th grade.
How was that for a boy? Being, you and Tony probably had to go through the same thing. How was that, not being in a school? Did you miss it, or was that just all you knew, so that was normal to you?
Well, it was all I knew, but there were very, very definite positive things to it. Because I didn't have any people my own age, and we had a crew of about almost 100 people, about 90-some people. Well, all those parents were people that were parents. So like the cameraman, the lighting people, the wardrobe man, and we'd play basketball. And you can't make a child work, so they have to be happy there. So everybody, I wouldn't say they catered to us, but they made it a very, very fun place to be. They set up a basketball court, and Tony and I would play basketball, and we'd have big basketball games. The makeup man would go crazy because we'd start to sweat, and we'd have to go and get our makeup all done again.
But how fun that sounds. We're going to take a quick break. We are talking now with the one and only Jerry Mathers, celebrating the 61st anniversary of Leave It to Beaver, aired on this date 61 years ago. He is in studio helping Kyle and I with the show until 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. I want to ask you about maybe what your favorite episode was. I think I know my favorite, and we'll compare notes coming back. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row, and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
The minute I open my door, Debbie Morris has a problem. I say, oh my gosh, a really big problem. The dog, the cat, my 3-year-old. Debbie's house is a mess. How can one family create this disaster? Debbie needs made for you. I need help. Professional residential and commercial cleaning, locally owned. You choose the schedule, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even one-time seasonal cleaning. Call 255-2922. That's 255-2922. Made for you. Made for you rescued me.
There's no need to travel to France when Le Chien is here.
That's Juan Alonso, owner of Le Chien Restaurant.
Enjoy Le Chien, our winning wine list full of treasures of French and California wines.
All at a reasonable price. Le Chien, the perfect setting for that special occasion or any occasion, business functions or weddings.
Experience the fine art of dining at Le Chien.
Enjoy a fabulous meal at Le Chien on Sierra Highway, exactly 7 miles north of Soledad. info@lechien.com.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Do you think taxpayers should pay for politicians' political campaigns? Assembly candidate Christy Smith does. Christy Smith supports raising our taxes. But guess where the money would go? Christy Smith wants to spend as much as $600 million in taxpayer money paying for the annoying mail and TV that politicians bombard us with. Let that sink in. Assembly candidate Christy Smith wants you to pay for political campaigns, even for those politicians you disagree with. Let that sink in. Christy Smith would spend $600 million for politicians instead of better roads or better schools for our kids. Christy Smith is just wrong.
Women deserve equal pay for equal work. It's just that simple. That's what's good about Assemblyman Dante Acosta. Dante Acosta voted to require equal pay for equal work. And Dante Acosta voted to let every child attend pre-kindergarten. That's Dante Acosta. Bipartisan, independent, fair.
Paid for by Dante Acosta for Assembly 2018.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. California Bakery and Cafe is open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all-natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving, anytime. Call us, 255-1254. That's 255-1254.
Beep, 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 go!
All right, 8:48 traffic on the 8s every 10 minutes right here on your hometown station, KHTS. Jerry Mathers in studio. Don't go away. We're going to talk to him more. He's actually helping Kyle and I co-host the rest of the show up till the 9 o'clock hour. Don't miss it. We're also, by the way, P.S., we're also streaming live on Facebook. Check it out. He's got a really cool sweater on. We're going to talk about his really cool sweater, too, that says Beaver on it. Southbound side of the 14, a little heavy as you come up toward Plaza Rita because of an earlier problem. We just never really recovered, so you're going to find a little bit of slowing in toward there. But the 5 looks great all the way down now to the 170 split. 405 bumper to bumper coming out of Devonshire all the way through the Sepulveda Pass. And a quick check of Sierra Highway because I did see some stuff on Sierra Highway. Southbound side now wide open into Golden Valley. That's traffic on your hometown station, KHTS.
KHTS traffic is brought to you by Frontier Toyota. Check out their all-new, hot and exciting 2018 Toyota Camry. Frontier Toyota, the Camry Kings. Their tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom on Valencia and Creekside. Frontier Toyota.
8:49 on this Thursday, October 4th. Good morning, Jerry Mathers.
Well, good morning to you, too, and all your fans.
Thank you so. There's at least one or two out there, I'm sure, Jerry, right?
Thousands is what I've heard.
You've heard that?
I know that as a fact.
Bless you, Jerry. Bless you, Jerry. Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver fame sitting in with us this morning because we're celebrating the 61st anniversary of Leave It to Beaver. We are streaming live on Facebook, so please check it out. You have the coolest sweater on. Can you tell our listeners how this came about, this cool Beaver sweater that you're wearing right now?
Well, the reason it's not really a Beaver sweater, it's a Letterman sweater. But on the show, Wally was always the big athlete, and he always had a Letterman sweater. So I also, the last year of the show, got a Letterman sweater. But this would be the Letterman sweater, and it's the same color. It's blue. And the surprising part was it's the same one of the actual high school, because I went to regular school after Leave It to Beaver, and it was the actual color of the sweater that I had as I was a Letterman in high school.
You were. So you finally...
After Leave It to Beaver,
it
was my first year of high school, so I was on the football team and the track team.
Look at you
and I lettered in both of them.
Look at you go! Fantastic. Now, not only, come on, Beaver. What a favorite show. So many generations now. It's been repeating and repeating and repeating. Certainly, I didn't get to see it on its first run. I wasn't around. But when I was a child, guess what happened? It was in reruns, right?
It's been in reruns all over the world. It plays in about 36 languages all over the world. So it's not only here in America, but especially in those times, because television really only came out in the late 1940s. And so a lot of people didn't really know a lot about Americans except what they saw from the tourists. So it really showed them life in America, a boy growing up in middle America.
How, for our listeners who maybe are a little bit on the younger side or never have seen your show, and I can't even imagine that right now, how do we get the name Beaver?
No one really knows. The writers just somehow came up with it. I walked in. I'd been an actor. I'd worked all my life. I started as an actor on live TV at 2 years old. So I went an audition. The audition had about 4,000 boys on it because they not only wanted Beaver, they wanted Eddie and Wally and all the other sundry characters. And so it was this huge one. And my mom kept going back and back. And I was going, Mom, why are we going back? Most of them, you'd either walk in, you'd get it, or you wouldn't. And she said, no, this is a series. And then all of a sudden they said, you know what, you're going to play the Beaver. And I went, oh, okay, what's that? I didn't know whether I'd have a mask on or what it was.
You thought it was a real Beaver.
I had no idea. And they said it's the story of a little boy growing up in America. And we just think you're the perfect person for it. And I said, well, I'm growing up and I'm a little boy, so I guess that fits. I fit the bill.
You were humble back then even.
I don't know about that. But, it was just a lot of fun. Tony Dow was who played Wally, the big brother, was this absolutely never acted before. Now, I had worked as an actor since I was 2, but he had never worked before, but he was an AAU swimming and diving champion, so he really was like Wally, the older brother. He was the youngest in his family. He has an older brother. I was the oldest, so I was actually the Wally for my family.
Interesting stuff. What is, we were talking before the break about favorite episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite episode?
That would be like saying, what was your favorite day or maybe a week, because that's how long it took to make it in school. There are a lot of them, and everyone I see has a favorite moment. Some of them had like Gus the fireman or Miss Landers or all the different people. So I remember that day, and, we may have done this or that. A lot of times we'd go out to Friends Lake, which was on the back lot of Universal Studios. Now that lake, for mosquito abatement, had fish in it. And Tony Dow and myself were the only kids. So at lunchtime, we would go out, and the prop man would give us a fishing line, and we were allowed to fish the bluegills in there. Now, we'd catch and release, of course. But, so it was great to go out to the lake. That was fishing day for us. That wasn't working.
Now, the lake that you're speaking of, is it still in existence?
It's on the back lot of Universal. When you go on the tour, they'll go by, and they don't call it Friends Lake. I forget what they call it. There's like 2 different lakes back there, but it's where McHale's Navy. In fact, a lot of times we had to kind of maneuver around when we were shooting the Friends Lake up for Leave It to Beaver, because there's the PT boat from McHale's Navy, and that didn't really seem like something that would be in the Mayfield Lake.
Exactly. But we still see it on the tours. That's why
Absolutely.
I was asking, because it's still part of the actual Universal tour. I was reading, your lovely wife, Teresa, takes care of you. As far as your business, she's fantastic, by the way. I set up this interview to have you come in, and it was so easily done. You need to keep her. You know that, Jerry, right?
That's what she keeps telling me, yes.
Okay. But she sent me your bio, and I had no idea of all the work you have done as an adult post Leave It to Beaver. I mean, just this list is so long. What does anything stick out? I mean, there's so much on here. The Colgate Comedy Hour, Family Affair, one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. Batman. Were you on the Love Boat? I love the Love Boat.
Actually, the one that I'm most proud of, and that kind of rung the bell for me. Now, I'd done a lot of stage work, but I was also on Broadway, and for me, that was something that, as an actor, because a lot of times, especially television actors, there's kind of like a hierarchy, television is, they say, movies are what you want to be in, but I've been in movies. I've worked with some of the greatest. I've worked with Alfred Hitchcock. I've worked with Bob Hope. I've worked with Shirley MacLaine. I used to sit on Alfred Hitchcock's lap and have him run lines with me. I was in Shirley MacLaine's very first movie, and I'd done a whole lot of movies before that. So I know a lot of people and have done a lot of things, so I've had a very, very charmed and wonderful life.
And let's talk about Broadway for a second. Broadway, you were in Hairspray.
I was in Hairspray. I played Wilbur. And Hairspray had been running for quite a few years when I got there. And they were doing okay, but they weren't doing the kind of business that they wanted. I went there, and my fans, it wasn't me, it was my fans, supported me. They did standing room only business the whole time I was there.
Who was your Edna to your Wilbur? Do you remember who your Edna was?
Paul Vogt. And it is kind of strange when you go in there, because here's this guy that comes up to you, and he's probably 300 pounds. Yeah. And they say, this is going to be your wife. And you go, oh, okay. But then he puts on his makeup and his wig, and he was just, and we would dance and all the different things. But that was the really hard part for me doing Broadway. I had done a lot of plays, so the stage was nothing that I was either afraid of, and I'd actually started at 2 years old on live TV, so that was just like stage work. But to have to get out there and dance and sing.
And sing, yes.
And sing.
You have a couple of special songs in that show.
Oh, yes. But it was something that went over very well. I had my fans supported me. There was no problem, and it was just the most fun thing. And it was the bucket list. You know how you check those things out?
Sure.
I've done television. I had my own radio show for about 5 years. I did movies. But
you keep bringing up that radio show, Jerry. I'm getting nervous.
That's good. Nervous. You better. But you're very good. You'd be hard to beat, I'll tell you.
If you want to look any of this stuff up, this wonderful interview with Jerry Mathers, thank you so much for staying here for the entire half hour with Kyle and myself. If you want to look him up, he is all over social media. You've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, The Jerry Mathers. His website is jerrymathers.com. If you want to see this interview in its entirety, half hour of Jerry Mathers and some fun stories too, just go to our Facebook page at KHTS. We're going to go. Jerry, can you help me out here? Because we have to take a break and then do traffic. Can you tell our listeners that's what we need to do?
We need to take a traffic break. It's 8:57. It's a little cloudy out, but it's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. Jerry Mathers in the house.
Great healthcare just got easier.